I think the Spirit can work in many ways in the arts. One of those ways is just in the inspiration, in God's presence with us, and the way that God as creator instills in us those same creative abilities and passions. And I think everybody has that, whether that comes out in a painting or a song or a piece of sculpture, or whether that comes out in your job as an engineer or a construction worker or whatever it might be. The Spirit inspires and enlivens creativity with us. But I also think that the Spirit works through the arts in how people receive it, in the same ways that when I preach a sermon, the Spirit works through those words in ways that I can't anticipate. The Spirit can work through works of art. The most recent time that I remember folks experiencing healing through art was with our Stations of the Cross exhibit this last Good Friday. I know folks had been really isolated for the entire year before that, and they hadn't been in our sanctuary in the building at all. This was the very first time that they were invited back into that space. This is our atrium here at John Knox, and this is also part of our gallery space where we feature different artists and different art exhibits throughout the year. We incorporate visual art into all of our worship services. Part of my responsibility is to choose a piece of art for every Sunday to work both with artists within our church community and in the broader community to consider how it is that their art and their faith, their spirituality relate to one another. Ways that I've been able to incorporate pastoral care into our relationship has a lot to do with the stories that they tell from the art that they create. This piece here hanging in a chandelier format is one that we did during the artist residency with Carolyn Ottenreith. As folks came into the sanctuary, they were given a piece of clay to just play with during the service, to feel in their hands and to shape into whatever they wanted. So inside of each of these pieces, before they were fired, was a piece of paper with something that someone was offering to God. And then Carolyn, our artist, took them and fired them and glazed them and then put together this chandelier-like formation of these pieces. And so when those papers go into the kiln, when they're fired, they totally disintegrate. They just kind of evaporate into nothing. And so it was a symbol of folks' prayers being offered to God. It stands here as a reminder of that every time we come in and out of the sanctuary. People will share a lot and reveal a lot about themselves in their creative process and in the artistic products that they make. And so to be able to give time and attention to those stories, or to ask further questions about what something might mean or what it might bring up for them. And that shows up, in folks in the congregation who might not call themselves artists, but where that shows up in the work that they do. Something that came up a lot during the artist residency for me was this tension that I have a little bit of both being a pastor and an artist, and the different times that I have to wear those different hats. The music and the art will never leave me. That will always be a part of how I work out my calling in the world, and the process by which I lean into God's call to be a healer, one who brings restoration.